Hi guys, today we're going to make a beautiful braised veal cheek dish. First we're going to brine and braise some veal cheeks, and as a garnish we're going to make an artichoke flan, some pan-fried artichokes, veal cheek broth and a lovage oil. So, let's begin.
First we're going to brine the veal cheeks. Pour 2 liters of water in a pan and add 100 grams of nitrate salt. Mix this and then submerge 4 pieces of veal or beef cheeks.
Once the cheeks are completely covered, let it brine in your fridge for 24 hours.
After that, transfer them on a towel and dry them all around. Then heat up a big pot, add a splash of oil and start pan frying the cheeks till golden brown on both sides. Meanwhile, cut 2 shallots in half and clean them. Now chop them. When the cheeks are golden, add the shallots and fry for another 4 minutes. Then deglaze the pot with 2 liters of beef stock and add water until the cheeks are submerged completely. Also add 4 bay leaves. Now take a piece of parchment paper and fold it to one corner till you can fold it no more. Then place the point of the parchment paper in the middle of the pot and cut away the excess paper. Also cut a small hole in the middle. Now place the paper on the pot. This will prevent the broth from vaporizing too quickly and it will also ensure a more even cooking process. Then bring this to a boil. Once it's boiling, transfer the pot in an oven at 85 degrees Celsius and cook the cheeks for 12 hours. You can also do this sous vide, both work great and I always do it overnight. The next day the cheeks are beautifully tender and you can gently remove them from the broth. Then remove the thick layer of fat and use a spoon to scrape away any other membranes. Now let them cool down in your fridge. Then take the big pot with the cooking broth and pass it through a fine sieve. Reduce the liquid on a simmer and while it's reducing, use a ladle to remove any fat that floats on top.
Okay, the glaze is reduced and the flavor is incredible. It's super powerful and it's a little bit sticky as well because we reduced it so much. Only when you're reducing, be careful that you don't reduce it too much because we brined the veal cheek, so it will also become a little bit salty. To balance out a little bit of that saltiness and also, well, the powerful flavor, because you don't want to overpower it, I'm going to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar and that will balance out the broth or glaze really nice and it will just give it another dimension. That's super nice.
Then for the artichokes. I use these beautiful violetta artichokes. I'm going to cook quite a lot of them, but for this dish I'm only using 1.5 artichokes for one dish. First remove the excess leaves and cut the stem around 4 centimeters from the artichoke. Place them in a big pot and cover them completely with water.
Now for every liter of water that you added to submerge the artichokes, you're going to add 10 grams of salt. So I used 4 liters and that's 40 grams of salt.
Transfer the pot on your stove and place a small pot on the artichokes to ensure that they stay submerged. Bring it to a boil on a medium heat. Once it has boiled, turn off the heat and let it cool down completely out of the fridge. After that, drain the artichokes and let them drip for a couple of minutes. Then you can start to peel away the leaves. These I'm not using for this dish, but you can definitely use them for a sauce or you can just eat them on their own. When all the leaves are removed, use a small thin knife to cut away the skin. Cut away as little as possible and keep the trimmings for later. Then use a small spoon or a small scoop to scoop out the soft inside. Now cut them in half and transfer them on a tray. Cover them with a thin layer of oil to prevent them from changing color and keep them in your fridge for later. Then for the flan. Transfer 100 grams of the artichoke trimmings in the blender together with 30 grams of egg yolk, 70 grams of cream, 10 grams of olive oil, 2 grams of salt and 5 grams of white wine. Blend this till smooth. Then pipe it in a silicone mold. Find a link to my mold in the description of this video. Now cover it with foil and steam it at 85 degrees Celsius for 14 minutes. After that, let it set in your freezer till solid. Then for the lovage oil. First, transfer 30 grams of lovage leaves into a blender together with 150 grams of neutral oil. I use sunflower oil. Blend this till the oil is at 65 degrees Celsius. It will heat up from the friction. Then pour the oil on a sieve that's lined with a kitchen paper and let it drain in your fridge. Now for the final prep, you only need to chop some chives, pick some savory herb flowers and portion the cheeks into the desired shape and size. As option, you can also already pan fry the artichokes, so you only need to pop them in the oven when you need them. Just fry them in some oil, and when they start to color, add a knot of butter. Then turn them around and fry them for another minute. Then we can start to finish the dish. First, remove the flan from the mold and place it on a plate. Cover this with plastic wrap and heat it up at 80 degrees Celsius for around 10 minutes. Meanwhile, heat up a frying pan, add a splash of oil and pan fry the cheeks on all sides till golden and crispy. Once all sides are golden, add a generous amount of the glaze and baste the cheeks till the glaze starts to stick. Then transfer them on a tray, baste them once more and then sprinkle the chopped chives and the savory herb flowers on top. Now place the glazed cheeks in the middle of the flan and also add 3 of the hot artichokes on the side. Now decorate with nasturtium leaves and fennel flowers and leaves. Finally, heat up some of the glaze and add 1 on 1 the lovage oil. Mix this and then serve a tablespoon or 2 on the outside of the flan.
Okay guys, that's it for today. I'm super happy with the dish. Braised veal cheeks and artichokes is always a beautiful combination and I really love the flavor on both ingredients. Especially in combination with the flan and the delicious lovage oil. Yeah, that's just too good to be true. So let's dig in. The veal cheek, it just falls apart when you cut into it, which is beautiful. The artichokes are beautifully cooked as well. And the broth is super nice. So let's just dig in. Yeah, that's really good. There are only 3 flavors: artichoke, lovage, and the veal cheek. But the combination works as always so well, and the flavor is super nice. The texture as well. There isn't really a thing that's crispy, but for me it doesn't need it because it's just super tasty and it still has a lot of texture. So, like I said, really happy with the dish. I hope you guys liked it as well. Please let me know in the comments or what you want to see next. Like and share the video. And subscribe if you want to support my channel and see more amazing cooking tutorials. And as always, bon appetit!